Let's meet a community partner, Stagelight Performing Arts. Thank you to Mrs. Delgado's class for creating the questions.
My name is Miss Lindsay.
And I'm Miss Alyssa.
What inspired you to start Stagelight Performing Arts?
Stagelight grew out of a love and a need for just further training in the community. So my mom owns Stagelight Family Productions. She's been in the city of Brea doing shows at the Curtis Theater for 30 plus years. And forever it was, where do I send my kids? Where do I send my kids? And then when we got to a point where both of us were kind of stuck in our careers, we said, wait, we can offer this service and let's jump full force and see how that works out. So that's really what inspired it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You have a mascot, Marley. How did you create Marley the mascot?
So as we got closer to opening the business, she and I, Miss Lindsay and I, went to a bagel place and just kind of and just started trying to think like, well, what are we going to name this business? And we had a lot of ideas. We brainstormed a lot. I had a napkin out and a pen. I'm very visual, so I just started sketching things, drawing. So as we just sort of started sketching the words out and the letters, I sort of drew this little stick figure. And at the time, his name wasn't Marley. He didn't even have a name.
No.
I don't think he had a name for maybe 2 years or so.
And the name came from some of our students. They started naming him. And then we kind of officially were like, wait, we have to name him.
Yeah. So when we moved to this newer location, we were like, this is sort of a new opportunity. It's a new start. Let's name him something that has to do with the arts. And we ended up on Marley, which is actually the name of the flooring that's used for dance and on stages.
And I thought it was a cute name.
So we named him Marley.
Next question. Where and when do your students perform?
Our students perform twice a year. We have a Christmas and or holiday recital, and then we do our big end of the year recital in end of June. The last, 5-6 years, we've been at Valencia High School. So it's a great space for us. It's close, it's a big space, there's a great holding space, there's lots of room for parents to be there, and we've just had a great experience at Valencia High School. So we do 2 performances a year for the studio-wide. And then the last year or 2, we've done a lot of performances in our back room. We've kind of made it a little black box theater, invited parents to come step in for little smaller acting performances and whatnot. And then we also use the Curtis Theater for our vocal recitals.
So tell us, what is your favorite musical that you've watched, and what is your favorite musical that you've each performed in?
I think it's impossible to choose a favorite musical, but Miss Lindsay and I were very lucky this past year. We went to New York City and we got to see 3 Broadway shows, and we both loved Some Like It Hot. It was fantastic. The dancing, costumes, choreography, the talent was incredible. So
it won Best Choreography this year for the Tonys.
And what about performed in?
My favorite to have performed in is probably Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Super high energy, great dancing.
Great music.
Yeah, great music,
So I've been lucky to perform in probably hundreds of shows at this point. And Joseph is obviously up there as one of my favorite I've done, but I think another favorite of mine was 7 Brides for 7 Brothers that I did at the Curtis Theater. Just the cast. I think it's more, not really the show, it's just the people that you're with. And that show specifically was a cast of just people that I love and adore.
What failures or mistakes have you made in your business?
I think in the beginning, you learn a lot when you open and run a business.
Sure.
But I would say that probably one of the biggest things we learned was, we create rules or expectations and agreements with our customers. And in the beginning, it was really hard to hold on to those rules and expectations because we wanted customers. So we would sort of let the customers maybe kind of get their way in certain ways. And we just learned the hard way, no, we have to stand our ground. This is our business. It's much like a classroom. If the teacher sets the rule and the expectation for that classroom, the students have to follow that. And it's the same with business.
And I still think that where we've been open for 10 years, I still think we're absolutely learning. So holding those expectations with our staff, with our students, with our parents, has allowed us a little bit more freedom, which you would expect the opposite, but it's allowed us as business owners more freedom and allowed clearer expectations for our customers.
How do you handle running a business when there are so many people involved, including students and staff?
We spent a lot of time building some protocols or some processes that for communication pieces. So we have we use different softwares to sort of calendar how we're going to communicate with customers and with staff. So scheduling, calendaring, and then using those software apps to really make sure we're communicating with each other as often as possible is key.
And I think from the customer face, we have our website is very transparent. Anything you could possibly want to know is on our website. And then finally, we have on one of our TVs in the lobby and one in the family room, we have a slideshow that goes with just
the news,
like all the things that are happening. So there are multiple versions of ways that we try to connect and communicate to our customers. So that's kind of we have the processes for the staff, but we also have many avenues that we can try to connect and communicate with our customers.
Mrs. Delgado's class had one more question for you. Tell us what you did before Spotlight. What were your careers and what got you here?
Well, I was a teacher. I taught high school and I taught PE and a couple of electives, and then sort of had this like, oh, this isn't really where my life is going. So I took a year off and did something else. I worked in a production, so like graphic design. Then I got back into teaching because there was a dance teaching position for public school. Still felt that I wasn't fulfilling like the creative side of it because it ended up just being a little bit more academic.
And I grew up, actually Miss Alyssa and I met dancing for Disney. So that's where the bubble started. And then I went on to work for Target. So I was in the kind of corporate world of Target, absolutely out of the game of performing arts entirely. It just wasn't who I was. And so when both of us kind of came to this crossroads at the same time, it was a moment. Do we try to make this happen? And luckily we have supportive husbands and a lot of community that came in and rallied behind us to allow us to make this happen while trying to grow our family as well.
So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.